Hello, my name is Mark Klimek. I welcome you to Klimek Connect to our walk through the Blue Book. This is episode 3. It's about ABC versus CAB. Now, we are covering information in the Blue Book, the book I wrote called the Blue Book. You can get it one of three ways. You can get it as a digital app called the Blue Book app on our Klimek Review website. You can either attend a live review or purchase the on-demand review, in which you will get a PDF form of the Blue Book, or you can buy it online on Amazon called the Klimek Blue Book. We will use this to direct our information that I give you. So we'll follow through this Blue Book. I'll give you page numbers as we go through. Today we're talking about prioritization. Now, there are 4 ways to prioritize in nursing. You can either use ABC to prioritize. You can use CAB to prioritize. You can use Maslow's theory of the hierarchy of needs to prioritize, or you can use stable versus unstable to prioritize. Each is appropriate in a totally different situation. You must know when to use each of the 4 protocols in the appropriate situations. If you use the wrong one in the wrong situation, you'll miss a question. So let's talk today about ABC versus CAB as a prioritization scheme in nursing. So just to give you a little history, ABC stands for airway, breathing, and circulation. You prioritize according to the airway needs first, breathing needs second, circulation needs third. CAB means compressions, airway, breathing. In other words, CAB takes compressions and moves it from third to first priority. Now, when did this happen and who did this? Who decided to change it? Well, it was the American Heart Association in 2010. They decided through research efforts that they found through research that if you start compressions earlier, you have better survival rates of acute cardiopulmonary arrests. So they wanted to get us doing compressions sooner. So it's about what do you do in a cardiopulmonary arrest, particularly in a acute myocardial event. What do you do first? CAB. So for basic life support, for advanced cardiac life support, for pediatric advanced life support, you always do your CABs. All right, but those are cardiac events. Now, you have to understand the American Heart Association doesn't dictate uh, ICU practice. It doesn't dictate emergency medicine. It just tells you what to do in BLS and ACLS. What a lot of people do by mistake is they make CAB for everything. They say, oh, American Heart changed it. It's no longer ABC, it's CAB. So in every situation, you do compressions, then airway, then breathing. That is absolutely not true. The only time you use CAB is for cardiac events. For all other medical emergencies, you use ABCs like we did before. So CAB is only for resuscitation. It does not apply in other life-threatening situations, such as respiratory failure, trauma, metabolic emergencies, diabetic emergencies, altered mental status, hepatic emergencies, and overdose and withdrawal. So let me go over those again. You don't use CAB for respiratory failure, for trauma, for metabolic and diabetic and hepatic emergencies, overdoses and withdrawals, or altered mental state. Now, one thing, you do use CAB if the client is non-responsive, if they're not conscious. So CAB is used for 2 things that start with C, cardiac and conscious. If they're a cardiac event and they've lost consciousness, then you use CAB. But for everything else that's physical, you use ABC just like we did before. So most of the time, you will be using ABCs. So what I want you to remember is this. Maybe we can show you this. When do you use CAB? Well, what are the first 2 letters of CAB? C and A. So C and A could stand for cardiac arrest. And the first C could also be consciousness. So cardiac and consciousness arrest, that's CA. You use CAB. Got it? CA in CAB can mean cardiac or consciousness arrest. Then what do I want you to make ABC stand for? Any but cardiac and consciousness. A for any, B for but, C for cardiac and consciousness. So when do you use ABC? For any but cardiac and consciousness. When do you use CAB? For cardiac and consciousness arrest. CAB for CAB and ABC for ABC. Hopefully that will help you remember when to use these two prioritization protocols. This is on page 14 of the Blue Book. See if you can use what we just learned. Thank you, and we'll see you for session 3 next.